What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into Club Jaguar. Yet another winning edition of Club Jaguar here as the Jaguars sit at 10-4, most wins since the year 2017, and really one of the best teams I can really remember in Jaguars history, at least recent history. So yeah, the wins just keep on rolling. The blowout wins keep on going. The Jaguars' new fourth quarter assassin is Nick Mullins because he just keeps closing out these games, which is obviously great to see. I'm gonna, of course, got to bring in my other co-host. I got Jason from Jaguars United. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? I'm feeling good this week. Feeling real good.
Feeling good, feeling good. We got Denver coming next week, which obviously we'll talk about. We also got to bring in Jordan DeLuga. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, you heard it here first. Best Jaguars team of all time per UCF Jaguar.
That's right.
In recent memory. I don't know. I can't attest to the 90s Jaguars because I was so damn young, not really following them then, but this team I think is different than 2017 or 2022. So we'll
You're not giving the Jack Del Rio Jags any credit here.
Yeah, come on, David Garrard.
Yeah, that was.
Come on.
I don't know. What would you guys say?
Drew?
I think 2017 was the best team in the, well, not including this year because it's still yet to be determined. But I think 2017 was the best team since the turn of the century for the Jags.
Interesting. What do you think, Jason?
I don't know. Those Matt Jones teams are special to me, so it's going to be hard to supplant them.
Yeah, I mean, there was something different about those defenses that we had with, John Henderson, Marcus Stroud, Rasheed Mathis. So, that's something there. But, of course, we're on to 2025, and hopefully we can make a pretty deep run in the playoffs. So, I think one takeaway I had from this last game is, this might be a hot take, but I think Trevor Lawrence is here to stay. What do you guys think?
I mean, I know Jordan's been all over Trevor, trying to cut him, trying to trade him all year. So, I'm glad that we can all tell Jordan we were right and he was wrong about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. He was saying trade for Shadur, right? He said it on the show.
He said. I think he said Shadur, Kyler Murray. The list goes on and on.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tua, he's available. It looks like so.
Tua, maybe Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trevor Lawrence absolutely killed it. I mean, 6 total touchdowns, also led the team in rushing. He's feeling right now. And I really think, look, the Jaguars, as we all know, they've been kind of getting some blowout victories. And, a lot of them have been, against obviously bad teams, especially these last few games and quarterbackless teams, essentially. But I think a big thing about what we've been doing these last few games is just continuing to build Trevor Lawrence's confidence, right? And he looks right now comfortable in this offense. He looks like he owns it. He looks like he is getting to that level where I think a lot of us knew he could get there. A lot of us knew he can have this ability to be there, but it's all about understanding this offense and not making the dumb mistakes and just feeling comfortable and letting it rip, right? And now look at him. He's
having some help.
Yeah, obviously having some help, which I know early on in the season that was an excuse that players running wrong routes and players dropping the ball, that's somehow Trevor Lawrence's fault with these uncatchable balls. But now everybody's feeling on offense, offensive line, Travis Etienne, wide receiver group. Jordan, I guess, give us your overall takes of just the quarterback and everything going on with the offense.
Well, you're finally seeing everything come together. That's what you're seeing. And you're seeing when things come together around Trevor Lawrence, you've got great play calling. You've got a reliable receiver, multiple reliable receivers now that he can target every area of the field with confidence now. And you have a left tackle playing well, a right guard playing well. That's the 5 pieces of the offensive line infinity stone, all pass protecting now. And the defense forcing turnovers. Yeah, this is what you're going to get with Trevor Lawrence when everything else is clicking around him. And he's helping everything click. Liam Cohen, Anthony Campanile, the whole staff helping everything click. It's going really well right now. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is certainly a catalyst for that, but there's a lot of other catalysts as well. Like, this is a really well put together coaching staff and a front office that I think really understood the assignment throughout the year.
Interesting. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan kind of touched on it. I think the biggest difference for me between now and what we've seen earlier in the season is just how well the offensive line has been playing. I mean, I think you could point to the receivers catching the ball. Obviously, defense getting turnovers is huge, but the offensive line play and specifically the pass protection, I think, has been the biggest difference. You really saw it in this Jets game when the Jets were blitzing over and over and over again, leaving the middle of the field open, trying to get home, and they couldn't get any pressure on Trevor. And Trevor was just standing in the pocket with a wide open middle of the field, able to hit people in stride. And he was kept clean all night, minus the one play that he made where he made the Superman throw. It's just the offensive line has really had a huge turnaround. I don't know if they're just clicking now. I don't know if Cole Van Lannon has just been like the secret recipe, but I don't know if it's just the defense they've been playing haven't been too effective. I'm not sure, but you can see a big difference to me in the offensive line, and that's huge for Trevor.
Yeah, and I think another thing that we had to just mention when we're talking about the offense is this Liam Cohen. I mean, we have an offensive and schematic genius out here, and he's a guy that can adjust on the fly too. And it's kind of crazy because we've had coaches in the past, right? Like, oh, we want to be able to run the ball, and if the runs game's not working in the first and second quarter, we're going to keep trying to pound the rock in the third and fourth quarter. But Liam Cohen's a guy, he's going to look at a defense and saying, okay, they're continuing to stack the box. We're going to keep throwing on these guys. And that's one thing that we saw Steve Wilkes get fired this week because he's not a guy that's able to adjust on the fly based on what the other team is doing. And Liam,
hey,
what
the hell is he supposed to do?
Well, here's the thing that I was looking at though, like, and this is what I've noticed these last 3 games, and you guys know the film a lot better than I do, but it's like I feel like these teams are coming out and just kind of loading the box up and not really respecting Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor's just letting it rip. So you would think in the first half, if they're loading the box and it's not working, they should probably not do it in the second half, right? And kind of play some more coverage. That's just my opinion.
I think that Wilkes was between a rock and a hard place. Like, there was not a correct answer. Because if he stopped blitzing, they're still going to get roasted. And then you're going to get yelled at for, not trying to get home.
Yeah.
I strongly feel that way.
He's got no talent since Sauce and Quinnen Williams got traded. He was in a tough spot. I mean, bro, your head coach is a defensive coach. How are you going to fire the defensive coordinator? Like, that is just ridiculous to me. Just
bad news.
Yeah. I mean, that's a scapegoat if I've ever seen one, for sure.
I mean, you like the Aaron Glenn hire, right?
I do like Aaron Glenn now. All right. Listen, there's a universe where Aaron Glenn with a good team is a good coach. I don't know if we're there right now, so we can't speak on it, but it is hard when all these other first-year coaches are doing so well.
I mean, I just don't know who jumps into the Jets situation and is able to really do well. I mean, we could all see Robert Saleh maybe getting another head coach job and actually working out well. It's just the Jets are a mess.
There are some, and this isn't a Jet show, their offensive line is legitimately exciting.
Yeah.
If you're that's one thing you can build on, and then you got to figure it out.
And they've invested in it. They've invested in it. And also Elijah Tucker's out.
I'm already bored, boys. Let's move on. I'm already bored.
Yeah, we can draft talk over there. Tankathon talk. We got playoff talk. So obviously the Jaguars just destroy the Jets in a big way, 48-20. I'm outside of Trevor Lawrence in the offense. Are there any other main takeaways that you guys have from this that you guys want to talk about? Because obviously I feel like the Jaguars are really good all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio Johnson. Oh, yeah. I know he didn't get injured, but kind of most improved player, I guess, type of award for him so far. He's been incredible at safety, coming off of a horrible year. And most players for the Jaguars defense did not play very well last year, but I mean,
he's better this year.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I would say he's getting better just this season. From the start of the season through, it wasn't like all of a sudden week 1 he was a different player. He was a little bit of liability at first, and I was watching this game. I'm like, this. I mean, that guy was popping off all over the field. You knew without even rewatching this game that guy was electric.
Yeah. You know who's not getting enough credit on defense, and he's getting credit, but when I went back and watched the film, Eric Murray, dude. Eric Murray is a game changer in the run, man. He comes downhill and fills the right gap quickly. He sets the edge. He can kind of fold back in after he sets the edge, and he always makes a tackle. Eric Murray is a huge difference maker on this team, and since he's been back from injury, you can tell when he's on the field. They use him as an extra linebacker a lot of times, and he's just been a big part of this defense and their ability to stop the run and just kind of really stifle these offenses.
Yeah, and I think that's your 2 starting safeties to enter 2026. Caleb Ransaw, you work him in as he gets healthy and all that stuff. So they've got a nice little group moving forward. I mean, you got Ray on Lane too.
Well, also the cool thing about the Jaguars defense is it's not like, you have your 2 starting safeties, 3 starting corners, and that's all you see. It's like he's able to really like filter through the whole entire depth chart and use guys in the best ability. It's like we haven't had, I feel like, guys be able to really use personnel as well as Anthony Campanelli has, because he goes all throughout the depth chart and uses guys. And hell, he can pick up guys off the street. Like Dickerson can go out here and make some plays. Like, we're not generating much pass rush. Okay, let's bring up a couple of undrafted rookies over here and let them make impact. Like the development on the defense and just getting everything out of everybody on the defense. I think Anthony Campanelli has been huge, really, in that respect.
Yeah, he's been incredible. And I talked to Gus about this week on Duval 22. Anthony Campanelli has the most complex defense that a lot of these guys have played in, where you have all sorts of unique fronts and you have post-snap coverage rotations, and he's making it look easy for these guys, even though it's more complex than anything most of them have ever done. And you can say the same thing about Liam Cohen's offense. So kudos to these coaches and the players for being able to execute.
Yeah, and that's the cool. That's one thing that's kind of interesting, because it looked like it took a little while for the offense to get rolling when it comes to guys getting on the same page. But it feels like this defense was kind of ready to go week one. There wasn't a lot of really growing pain. Of course, we went through the midseason little bit, which really wasn't even that much of a lull. I mean, the Rams put a lot of points on us just because we were just out coached for a game. But other than that, the defense has just come out firing with a bunch of the same personnel from a team defense that was seemingly awful last year, right?
Well, it helps when Devin Lloyd is playing like the greatest linebacker on earth.
Yeah.
Even this last game, I think it was Eric Murray that got the sack, or it was someone that got the sack where Devin Lloyd and Murray or someone was running through the same gap, both unblocked. The running back had to pick which one, and he just picked Devin Lloyd. So it's like Devin Lloyd doesn't get the sack on that play, but like he could have easily gotten it based on who the running back blocked. And it's like, that was a scheme sack. That was a Campanelli sack. And it was just, he's calling the right plays at the right time. Defense is doing what they have to do. And as much as we love talking about the offense, especially with Trevor Lawrence having an amazing game, like, I'm a defensive guy. I've been loving watching this defense all year.
Yeah. And Dennis Gardeck, man, other linebacker, plays edge, plays linebacker. He's a menace out there. I mean, I can't remember what they call him out in Arizona, but whatever it is, like Barbarian, the Barbarian is what it was. Yeah, he plays that way. He absolutely does.
And he was like a post-draft acquisition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was available later than he normally would have been, in my opinion, because he was coming off the ACL and he had multiple ACLs throughout his career. So it was a little, and he wasn't ready to go when he got here. But as soon as he's gotten on the field, he's been ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just incredible, because like, I feel like when you look around this defense, you can say like everybody has made some kind of significant play that you can remember. Even Mason Smith with his penalties each game.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody,
fantastic.
Everybody I feel like has a pretty big moment. I mean, even like Devon Hamilton, like I don't think he gets a lot of love because it's, run stuffing guy. They're not, big piling up the sack numbers, but he's been incredible with helping the Jaguars become, the number one rush defense in the NFL. So
yeah, he's been balling.
Yeah.
Matt Dickerson's been balling. I think if you're going to talk about one player on defense who's a starter who has been like, I would say Newsome.
Oh yeah. I would agree.
He hasn't been bad, but
I mean, he had the interception 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was like he hasn't defended a lot of passes. He hasn't gotten a lot of pass breakups. He hasn't come downhill or made any big plays a lot. I mean, he's doing all right. He's not a major liability in any way, shape, or form, but like he's being outperformed by Buster Brown, in my opinion.
But he's covering the wide receiver ones, though, typically. So
a lot of times.
Yes, I mean, it does have a harder job. We got to at least, give him that caveat.
It's not always, though. I mean, Buster's on the one too.
Yeah, I think they're playing like sides of the field, so it depends on the offensive formation. But
yeah, Greg is much more on the defensive right side, Buster on the defensive left side.
I mean, was Campbell playing much better than he is now?
No, and I'm not trying to like say Greg's not playing well, but if you're just talking about as compared to like draft status or like, I feel like every single defensive player for the most part is playing the best they ever have. I don't think that Greg Newsome is playing the best he ever has.
Interesting. Yeah. And with Greg Newsome, you know, you bring in because the main reason you get Greg Newsome in here was kind of to try to get yourself out from under Campbell's contract and bring in a guy to kind of spot start for a year, right? Is that kind of how you interpret that trade?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's necessarily in the plans because Buster Brown is also on a contract year. I think they would rather bring back Buster and go try to find someone else. I would guess that Newsome would be more expensive than Buster Brown.
Yeah.
Just based on
he's got name recognition,
history, all that stuff. But yeah, I don't think that they were like Greg Newsome is a building block. I think they were like Tyson Campbell is not a building block. Right. We want to get out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And I feel bad for Tyson, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's got to be rough when you're over there losing and you're kind of seeing what's going on in Jacksonville, especially since, I mean, he was a big reason why Tyson Campbell, a big reason why the Jaguars beat the Texans, the first go around, kind of forcing a fumble on Nico Collins. So, he had his moment, but, of course.
I feel really bad for Tyson Campbell and his $53 million guaranteed. I don't know how he lives, to be honest.
Yeah, but we have more wins than Tyson Campbell right now. You realize that, right?
I mean, he can cry about his wins to his $53 million in his bank account. That's what he can do.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
And I see people talking about Mason Smith. I think that that's fair to say he's not playing very well either, unfortunately, which is why Matt Dickerson's getting so much run.
Do you think he's at risk of maybe not even making the roster next year, Mason Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. 100%.
Yeah.
It's crazy is like I'm looking at the comments talking about corners for the last 5 minutes. Completely forgot about Travis Hunter. Didn't even cross my mind.
I was thinking that in the back of my head.
He's on the team.
Which I do want to. I was thinking about this week. Of course, we have Travis Hunter, but next year, how do you deploy him? Because as I kind of reflect on the season and see how well our offense is doing, one thing about our offense, the reason why it's doing so well is I think everybody's understanding the playbook, everybody's on the same page, and clearly at the beginning of the year, Travis Hunter wasn't. I mean, there were times he was running wrong routes and everything, so it wasn't ability. It was just maybe he was stretching his brain too long. So next year, is there a situation you're trying to kind of have him play basically full-time wide receiver at first and start sprinkling him in a little more at cornerback? Because cornerback, I think, is a little bit more instinctual, right? And then when it comes to wide receiver, you have to really understand where you're supposed to be, what spot in the field you're supposed to be. So I guess, how would you guys each kind of deploy him next season?
I want to hear what Jordan has to say.
I don't think there's a wrong answer because he's so good. But I think if you just want to look at how he is going to impact the current Jaguars, and obviously we have to see what they do to augment the team throughout the 2026 offseason. But based on the way I think it's going to play out, I think he can have a bigger impact at corner next year. And I don't like that because I want him catching passes from Trevor Lawrence. But if you bring back Jacoby Myers, you have Brenton Strange, you have Parker Washington, obviously Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, I think Travis can make that group better. But right now, you don't have a starting corner for next year. Yeah. Buster Brown and Greg Newsome are both set to be free agents. Jarian Jones is better in the slot. We have seen that. Jordan Lewis is better in the slot. We have seen that. So, yeah, I mean, right now I would say more corner, but what they have said or what has been reported is that they're going to move forward with him playing both spots again, which I'm good with that too.
Interesting.
Yeah, Jordan kind of gave my answer just in a weird way, like usual. But I think, obviously what happens in the off season. Well, first and foremost, what happens down the stretch against these good teams could be a good indicator of what happens. When you start, we're kind of gauging it off the last 5 weeks. Let's kind of see how this team looks, in the playoffs, against the Broncos. Like, let's see where the deficiencies may come up when they're really pressed. And then that may give us a better indication of where we're at in the offseason. Like, what happens with Jacoby Myers? I'm sure he wants to come back. What if the Jags try to lowball him and he hits free agency? And additionally, you got to take a look at, Travis Hunter. And I think the biggest thing, more than all of those things I just said, was I think Gladstone's so young that he has a little bit of arrogance to him. And the fact that he said that he's going to be a two-way player, he's going to try to make him a two-way player because he's young, arrogant, not in a bad way, but I mean, who trades 2 first-round picks in their first draft pick ever? Like, that takes some balls. So, like, someone like that, like, I think he's going to be so, like, listen, this is what I said, this is what we're going to do. So I see him next year, at least through half of the season, being deployed the same way he was at the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Because I know when you look at him, it's like, man, like, he's really good at corner. Like, we've seen the way he can cover guys, but it's also like, man, when this guy got the ball, he could make some guys miss, so it's just all about, can you handle all mentally? And also, like, you're opening yourself to a lot more injury risk as well when you're kind of deploying him the way you're deploying him. But that'll be a fun topic for next year, especially at the Jaguars. We have a good team right now, so we're just going to add that to the arsenal. So that's really exciting. Yeah, and we also have Ransall coming back too, some more secondary help for sure. So we'll just have to see how it goes next year. So with that said, I know when the Jaguars beat the Jets, it kind of reminded me of when the Jaguars beat the Titans, where it's like, okay, cool, great victory, but it was almost like you quickly moved on to next week. When you beat the Titans, you had the Colts in the upcoming week. Both teams tied, same record. Winner will move on to sole possession of first place. And now after beating the Jets, you look on to the Broncos, who, this is an incredible game just, for potentially AFC seeding. But it's also big because the Jaguars actually really need this victory because, if the Jaguars were to drop this one and, beat the Colts and beat the Titans to finish up the year, you still need help from the Texans because the Texans go 3-0. This is no longer your AFC South. So if the Jaguars, lose this weekend and then the Texans beat the Raiders, both teams are tied, but unfortunately Texans get that tiebreaker. So this game right here could ultimately decide whether you are, going to win the AFC South and potentially be a 1, 2, or 3 seed, or not win the AFC South and still get into the playoffs, but you're more so looking at like a 5, 6, or 7 seed spot, which will kind of suck because all of a sudden you're going on the road in the playoffs. So I gotta ask you guys, man, like how much looking forward to this game? I mean, do you guys are you guys feeling good about the Jaguars' chances, or I guess Jason, we can get an overall vibe check about you this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest deficiency I currently have is I haven't watched a lot of Broncos football. My plan this week and today and tomorrow is to watch some Broncos stuff to get a better feel. But I admittedly haven't watched enough Broncos stuff to know, like, obviously I know Nick Bonito's really good. I know Patrick Surtain's really good. I know Bo Nix has been playing really well. But, it's hard for me to kind of speculate how this game is going to look. I mean, Cole Van Lannon is going to have his first probably like massive test this week as this like new starter at left tackle. So I think we'll learn a lot this week. The good news is the Texans still do have a tough game on the road against the Chargers. So, I mean, if we do drop this game, we could have help from the Chargers. They're not a bad team. So I'm in kind of like a wait and see type mentality. I'm just kind of hoping that the Jags that show up are the Jags we've seen the last 5 weeks.
Interesting. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah. Vibe check. Vibes are extremely high. Liam Cohn was talking about this game in the post game of after the Jets. Like they were already thinking about this game too. And
looking ahead to this game, huh? Looking past the Jets. Can't take the Jets lightly is what I was getting told on Twitter all week.
Well, they
I was dropping out the play
because they beat their ass. So
yeah, like you can start as a coach mentally thinking about things a little bit, and they know the magnitude of this game. I think that there's some reason to be positive specifically about this matchup and negative. So obviously the negative is the Broncos have won 11 straight games.
It's pretty good, I think, right?
They're also incredibly difficult to beat in close games at Mile High. if it comes down to the wire, they're probably going to have a little bit more energy than you just because they're used to the altitude. But Liam Cohen played against the Broncos last year as the Bucs OC. That was one of his worst games. And look, is it the same personnel? Is it the same talent? Is it the same offense? No, it's not. So it's not that big of a concern, but it is interesting. That was one of the games I watched right when Liam Cohen got hired. And I was like, man, this Broncos defense is giving it to him a little bit. Then you have the fact that the Broncos do run a lot of man coverage, which should be good for Liam Cohen, should be good for dialing things up. But then you have the fact that they run a lot of man coverage because they have Patrick Surtain, who is the best corner in football. So there's a lot of different aspects to it. I think these are the two best run defenses in football right now, which is pretty interesting. Just two really well-rounded teams as of right now. I think that the Broncos offense is a little bit more hot and cold than the Jaguars offense is right now, but their defense is, best in the league, second best in the league, up there with Houston.
Yeah. And this one's big because I'm really interested to see how the Broncos go into this one, because I know for the Jaguars, this is such a huge game, but I wonder, because I think a lot of the times this week we talk about like respect, which, it doesn't really bother me that much that the Jaguars aren't getting this quote unquote respect from around the league. But I wonder how much the Broncos will look at the Jaguars and take them seriously. I would imagine they will, because obviously the results are there and they've seen kind of what the offense has done. But this might come down to who's a hungrier team, right? I think the Jaguars probably need this game more than the Broncos. I mean, unless the Broncos are really fighting for the number 1 seed, they've already clinched the playoffs, and I think they're going to be too far away for them to lose the lead on the AFC West right now. Obviously, the Chargers are kind of in the mix, but I think they're well ahead of the Chargers, where I don't think it's going to be that difficult for them to pull ahead. But for the Jaguars, obviously everything on the line, and this game right here, it's almost like the Jaguars have a 3-game playoff here, because it's just such a difference if you're going to win the AFC South and get into the playoffs than if you're going to get into the wild card, because then you're on the road every week, and it's just such a difference. Yeah.
I think the Jags can be road warriors, but I also think that they are much strange games that they've had. It's been on the road, right?
Yeah.
Like the obviously against the Rams was not in Jacksonville, but you look at the game against the Texans, that was in Houston where they fell apart. The Raiders overtime game was in Las Vegas. The Cardinals game, overtime game, was in Arizona. All these weird games are on the road. Even the Bengals one in week 2. So it's like, yeah, they can win on the road. They can get the job done, but you look at their home record compared to their road record, and I don't include the Rams game as a home game. They only have 1 loss in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And that was the Seattle Seahawks. They're not coming in here and playing in the playoffs. Seattle's not. So I would much rather the Jags win out and get home field for sure. And if you are somehow able to get to the 2 seed, that locks you in for a home field advantage for at least the first 2 weeks of the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's huge.
And you could get it in the AFC Championship game too with the 2 seed potentially.
Especially with this AFC right now. I mean, it feels like everybody's almost at the same, like, I shouldn't say same level, but a bunch of teams out there. The only team I may not take seriously maybe is the AFC North team, just because they're going to kind of limp in there. It's if you watch those guys, like, the Ravens, they shut out the Bengals this week, they looked okay, but then next week they could drop an egg. They're just not the same Ravens team as they have been. But
I think every team in the playoff picture right now in the AFC outside of Pittsburgh has the potential to beat any other team that's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Los Angeles Chargers, Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans.
Yeah.
I'd be less worried about the Broncos when you look through their schedule. They've played a lot of teams that don't have winning records, but when they beat the Packers last week, I was like, dang it, man, dude. That was the game where I was like, man, if they would have lost that one last week, I'd feel so much better. I mean, the only teams in that 11-game win streak they beat with a winning record are like the Texans a long time ago, like back when we beat them by 3. And then the Cowboys. I mean, that's really it. And then they beat the Packers last week. Packers are a good team.
They beat the Eagles too.
The who?
Eagles.
Eagles. Okay. And so, I mean, they're a good team for sure. And it is big. Something I want to float at you. And maybe I'm getting like preemptively for my heart getting broken. You know, sometimes when you like date a girl and you think that they're going to break up with you, so you start making excuses in advance. You ever been there with me? Is there a chance that the Jags, like, is there a chance the Jags could lose this game and that's the catalyst? Because this team rebounds from losses pretty well. Is that the catalyst that like gets their ass in gear and they go on a win streak? Like, could that possibly happen?
They're already on a win streak.
There's only two games. There's only 2 games left after this, though.
Win streak, not
I hear you.
Playoff.
I don't think that they need to get their butt in gear on anything, though. I mean, they're firing on all cylinders right now.
Besides Greg Newsome, you hate Greg Newsome. Maybe he could get his ass in gear.
Yeah. So
I think that Texans game was one that,
though.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You're right. That springboarded both teams.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, but what you said about the Broncos and the teams they've played, it's so crazy how they've played down to their opponents. They've won against these opponents, but they've played down to them. Against the Jets, they won 13-11. Against the Giants, they won 33-32. Against the Raiders, they won 10-7. The Commanders, 27-26. The Raiders again, 24-17. It's crazy against all these not very good football teams, how close these games have been. And they've played down to their competition. They've also played up to their competition. So I don't think that's really that much of a factor in terms of just like this game. But I do think it shows some chinks in the armor potentially.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm kind of with Jason where, man, I really thought Green Bay was going to go in there and beat them.
Yeah, I did too.
I was like,
they lost Parsons and Watson in that game.
Yeah, and I didn't watch
and
it.
They didn't
I know
lose
Jordan Love was, and I know Jordan Love was just kind of throwing it all over the place, so he didn't really help out the cause. But man, especially with the Patriots dropping, it would have just been so huge if Denver could have dropped 2. And then at worst, you're playing for the 2nd seed this week. And then the 2nd seed is crazy just because you're guaranteed 2 home playoff games if you, of course, win the wild card one. So imagine back-to-back playoff games in Jacksonville. Oh my gosh, like that's uncharted territory here as a Jags fan. So obviously lots at stake there. We're going to get into it in a little bit as well. I can get to some super chats, but real quick, I do want to shout out this channel's sponsor, and that is Sleeper. Get a free $20 entry using promo code UCFJAG. They get you free $20 so you guys can make some picks. And I think what we'll do is we'll actually make some picks on the upcoming on a Thursday night football game, because I don't know how much has been. Actually, look at these. You got some favorite picks here. Actually, let's take a look at the Jaguars one, because usually a lot of times, like,
make the screen bigger for this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
No, for me, because I can't see.
Oh, for you, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I get the old man font out here where everything's huge. My dad was doing this, and my dad, not the best eyesight, right? Because he's 60 something, and then he was like major zoomed in. So when the Jags were playing the Texans, he's like, oh, Nick Chubb, 12.5 rushing yards. Oh, higher on that one. And then it turned out he lost. He's like, why did I lose? And it was 12.5 rush attempts. So the change of font got him good on that one. So
man.
Actually, we have some pretty good numbers here. Actually, a lot of anytime touchdowns. Okay. So actually, we're going to do Jaguars Denver. Why not?
Okay.
Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown.
He's scored and
that's the one. That's the one.
I was hoping you guys would tell me to do that. I kind of like Trevor Lawrence passing yards. What do you think about that? Are we going to ride Trevor Lawrence again?
I think they're going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I think we just wait on that one. Let's see what else they have.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, you can do it. Let's just see what else they have, though.
I'm going to do it. I like it.
I think they're going to have to throw the ball. I really do.
Cam Little line, though.
Cam Little, 1.5 extra points made. Wow.
Oh, no, not extra points. Sorry. I'm like your dad. I can't see.
What's wrong with 2 extra points?
That's 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
That's extra points?
Yeah, that's extra points.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay, so we already got 3 of them. So
Do you have to do the other team too, though, or did you?
Yeah, we had to do one from the other team.
Okay.
Yeah.
What can we do here?
So let's see. We got Cortland
like
Sutton
Cortland
receiving
Sutton.
yards. Yeah.
What if
number
RJ
one
Harvey
wide
doesn't
receiver.
play? Can you do the under if RJ Harvey doesn't play?
No, because then they'll just refund me my entry. We tried that before. Is our RJ Harvey? He's not injured, is he?
Yeah, he's right now. He is on the injury report. He left the game this past weekend. What did he have? Let's see here. RJ Harvey. Well, he was a full participant with his ribs, so he'll be all right.
Yeah,
he's gonna play.
We got Evan Ingram anytimer.
What was the Nick Bonito one?
2.5 tackles.
Yeah.
That sounds
more.
good.
Yeah,
we're going more on that. All right, I think we're gonna lock it in here. I think we got like 4 of them in here. Okay.
Oh, come on. Let's see what else they got.
See what else.
Cortland Sutton.
We're winning already.
All right, we'll go back to Cortland Sutton. You know, this is the first. Wide receiver ones. Sometimes they usually do pretty good against us, especially when they actually have quarterbacks. So
wait, before we submit this, I'm just looking at Nick Menino's numbers here.
Also, Evan Ingram, anytime touchdown. Evan Ingram revenge game here.
Honestly, I looked at that and I liked that because I feel like anyone that plays their former team when there's the Jags, they go off.
Yeah.
So Bonito is 2.5.
Yeah.
He usually gets 2.5. Not always, but more often than not.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
1 sack and 2 tackles. We cash.
Yeah,
exactly. We cash. I'm gonna stay away from Evan Ingram anytimer though. Even though that would be a crazy multiplier. Man, that would go from 7-time multiplier to 22.
Yeah.
Do it.
I kind of want to do that. I'm gonna do that.
Can we have big money around here?
I'm gonna put five on that. Five to win $113. Look at this. We got a 6-legger here.
We got to buy gifts, man.
Oh man, we're gonna go crazy if we hit this one. All right, be throwing ones all over the club. Okay, so we're submitting this. We got this one right here. We had a free cancellation in 5 minutes. So once I stop sharing, I'll go ahead and cancel. No, I'm joking. But yeah, free $20 entry using promo code UCFJAG. Appreciate Sleeper for what they do over here on Club Jaguar. All right, so let me switch me and Jordan. Don't know how we got mixed up. Okay, so let's get to some super chats. Why don't we? We got Slay for God. He says, who are your biggest must re-sign players right now, and how do we make the cap space? Yeah, this is one. I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week. We can go through it again. I mean, the list is what? Jacoby Myers, ETN,
Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Buster Brown.
Yeah, Buster Brown. I mean, geez, it's it's hard, man. I mean, I'd love to. I don't know if there's a way to. I don't know if there's a way to sign all of them, but man, because at this point, because we debated ETN, it's kind of been a different thing every week, but golly, like sometimes we don't talk too much about ETN, but he's playing really good, on pace for 1,400 scrimmage yards on the season, and he's been in his zone for sure. So I don't know. You guys want to power rank again? We got Jacoby Myers, ETN, and Devin Lloyd. Where you guys have it at?
I'm gonna type mine out, and I'm gonna listen to Jordan and see if we're the same.
All right, go ahead and type it out.
No, you can talk. I'll type.
Well, how do I know you're not just gonna?
I'm not gonna cheat, Jordan. I already have mine in my head, dude. I'm ready to go already.
Okay.
I might change my answer after Jordan says his.
Jacoby, Devin, and ETN. That's it. Those are the guys.
That's it.
All right, show your screen now. Show your screen.
Just said it.
I want to see what you type.
It is.
I like how you typed it on your screen, like you're gonna like show it after, like reveal it.
He said it in the order that it is. He like already like when like you said it. It's already that's the order.
Okay,
that's it.
Perfect.
Look, I think Devin Lloyd might be the best player out of all of them, but Jacoby is the most important.
Yeah,
clearly.
Jacoby unlocked the offense.
Now, is it possible that you go find some possession receiver out of college or something? It's possible. I don't want to go down that road. It's much more likely to find a good replacement at running back, which you already have one option. You can go, you have so many day 2 and day 3 picks next year. Draft a couple running backs if you want to. Do whatever the heck you got to do to make sure that running back room is on point. I cannot let Jacoby Myers walk out of that building.
No, you're right. Not to mention Ventrell Miller's out here getting interceptions now, so maybe he's the new Devin Lloyd.
Punt return interception.
Yeah, that was man. He could have fair caught that. Need it. Yeah, that was. I mean, he must have just been like. I mean, it must have felt
dude.
like the ball was in the air for an hour when he saw the thing coming to him. Because I don't know where the guy was throwing it to, but
yeah, I guess the bigger question here, and because I think everyone's power rankings would be what we agree with. I guess the question for you all is prioritizing re-signing guys like Travon Walker. Does that take precedence to a guy like Devin Lloyd? Like, and I understand you could push it down the road, but does it make more sense to re-sign Travon Walker now? Does it make sense to, like, Cole Van Lannon? We even mentioned, like, is Cole Van Lannon our future left tackle? Is that a guy that we try to keep, he's coming up on a new deal? Like, is that more important when you combine all of those than Devin Lloyd, who I love, by the way?
These are good problems right now. We're not talking about who to sign from other teams. Like, usually this time of year, it's like, okay, I want to sign, Trey Smith. I want to sign this and this. It's like now we're like, how the hell do we keep all these guys on the Jaguars roster right now?
Right.
Yeah. So the thing about Trayvon is if you extend him next offseason, you can actually save cap space by doing that in the short term. That can actually help you to sign Devin Lloyd or Jacoby Myers. So that's not an issue, but they are up against it cap-wise, and they're going to have to, in my opinion, they're going to have to add some void years, restructure some things, move some money into the future, which I have no problem with doing.
Yeah.
It's a young team.
Let me throw something else at you here. Something that a lot of people aren't talking about. You cut Foye next year, you save a lot of money. I love Foye. Does this defense and does this regime value Foye the same way we do?
I think that's a great question. For one, it's a great question because also just like linebacker in general, but because the Rams, where obviously Liam Cohen cut his teeth in the NFL and James Gladstone spent his whole career, they did not value linebacker. They do not. They've shown that they'll re-sign a running back. They re-signed Kyron Williams this year. But they have not done anything with linebacker like that. They've let their linebackers walk. They've traded their linebackers. And that's a fascinating kind of philosophical question. But the problem with Foye Oluokun's contract right now is I don't think you save anything in 2026, really. Unless you could do post June 1.
Yeah, it's like
you only get
million.
You only get 2 post June 1 cuts every year, and you don't get that cap space until June 1st. Now that can be allocated towards like signing your entire draft class and not having any money going into the draft or cap space going into the draft. So like it can help, but they save $10 million in cap space if they cut him post June 1. If they cut him before June 1st, they save $2.5 million in cap space. And look, I mean, that's not worth it.
I mean, obviously they're not going to do that. Are they going to do it post June 1?
Maybe. Then you're talking, but Devin Lloyd isn't doing what Foye is doing.
Maybe.
Could Ventrell?
I mean, it's just food for thought because I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do here. And if you're Liam Cohen and James Gladstone and Tony Baselli, I mean, these are all, not in the mind of James Gladstone. I know Liam Cohen and Tony Baselli are going to value the offense more than anything. So if it's between Foye, Devin, Cole Van Lannon, ETN, Jacoby Myers, like 2/3 of that room are going to probably vote offense. So it's just food for thought is all I'm saying.
And I also think there's an aspect of like draft and develop, right? So, I mean, what have you drafted? I mean, in the 3rd round, you drafted Wyatt Milam. So does that make it to where you're going to try to maybe move off of, and I don't know the numbers in my head, right? So you're going to try to move off of McCary, save some money there. So Wyatt Milam can be a starting right guard. I know. I'm just throwing out things because, a lot of times you want to pay your premium positions, right? The quarterback, the left tackle, the wide receiver 1, you want to pay a cornerback 1. So sometimes these other guys like interior offensive linemen, maybe especially guards, or off-ball linebackers, stuff like that are safeties. Sometimes these are the ones that you prioritize less and then you try to, spend more elsewhere. So it'll be a fascinating offseason. I think it'll be a big one because I think when you look at the the year after 2017 and the year after 2022, they kind of approached the offseason like, okay, we're good with what we got in the house right now. We're going to spend a little bit of money, bringing guys in to do that. And then it just didn't work out. And was it a personnel issue, or was it an issue with, the culture, with the coaching? Not really sure. But obviously, I think that's a big test now where the Jaguars will ultimately be in the playoffs. But the next test is do it again, because we've had flash in the pans where we've gone in the playoffs, won playoff games, but we haven't done it over a period of time where we do it back to back years where, we become the Bills, where it's like, oh, the Bills, they'll be in a playoff next year. Mark them down. What? That's where we need to be.
Is there a bigger streak of games for any player that you can remember than freaking Cole Van Lannon in his next 4 to 5 games? That dude is proving, if he shuts down Bonito, they go to the playoffs, and he shuts down the next D end. That dude may have the most important stretch of games for his future than anyone I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, and it's not like he hasn't faced anyone now. So he's gone against Leatu Latu and then Will McDonald, which neither of them are Nick Bonito, but they're both talented guys in their own right. So it's not like he hasn't gotten a little bit of a prep for this type of assignment. And Nick Bonito, he does align primarily on the defensive right side, offensive left side. So you're right on it there. They're going to be going head on head, mano a mano, and that you're right. I mean, if he goes out and executes the rest of this year the way he has the last couple weeks, you got to resign him.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know how much it's going to cost.
It's been a noticeable difference in Trevor Lawrence when Cole Van Lannon's been at left tackle. And Trevor's made the throws, but Walker Little's not going, oops, sorry, watch out. You don't have that going on. So this is huge.
Walker Little just had too many moments where he gave up those lightning quick pressures.
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer to fixing Trevor Lawrence was Jacoby Myers and Cole Van Lannon. I told you guys that preseason.
Strange is critical too.
Yeah.
And Liam Cohen a little bit, right? A little bit of credit to him. Not a lot.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. No doubt.
Shout out to, we got Zachary says, keep up the great content, fellas. Go Jags. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We have Tekken says, will you guys be live on Christmas Eve next week? Next Wednesday, to be exact, is when I'll reach my 30s. There we go. Yeah, we talked about doing, because I know the next couple of Wednesdays we have Christmas Eve, and then we have New Year's Eve. I know next week I can't do Tuesday. Maybe off next week, but we'll do a show in 2 weeks. A week of New Year's is probably where we'll go. So
could do Monday. We can talk about Monday. Later.
Yeah, we can talk about Monday.
Yeah, we'll try to figure it out. And
would you imagine a Monday stream? We can do it right when Jaguars happy hour starts. Bring people over, and then or we can do a post. You can go live right after and try to take their live viewer.
Let's go head to head. Let's see who gets more viewers.
Can they rate our channel?
We'll put a counter.
Yeah, rate our channel.
We'll put a little icon up on the right with a little counter. Who's got more views? We'll just challenge all our viewers to outview them.
Or we can help each other out. We can raid their channel, and then they raid us right after.
Yeah.
Or we stream them and critique everything bad they say live in the moment.
Yeah, that's true. We're like, terrible take. Yeah. Pete doesn't know what he's talking about. All right. We got Big Jags fan says, I think he plays cornerback and comes in on third down as a threat and distraction. Who would like him returning punts? Jordan. I just said I like that hat. Okay. I think Big Jags fans in on the bourbon right now.
I'm good with Parker Washington being the punt returner.
LaQuint Allen had a good look. I mean, he hasn't punt returned, but
Parker's my punt
returner. I see. He's talking about Travis Hunter. Okay.
Yeah. But
Parker's my punt returner.
Listen, for all you De'Ami Brown haters, De'Ami Brown had a block on the kick return that sprung LaQuint Allen to return the ball to the 50.
I don't care.
Yeah, I do not give a shit.
What? No love for the special teams lead blocker?
No, it's just funny how it's like he got relegated to second or third string, whatever he is now, and then gets the ball for the first time in 10 weeks, and then he fumbles it.
Hey, it's great that he's given effort. That's fine. Whatever. It can help him get a job next year. We need to talk about this football game. A
Yeah.
little bit more about this football game.
Wait,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's fire through this.
Who we playing? I thought we were off next week.
As far as this one, having outright faith isn't something I'm ready for yet. But to me, it just needs to be competitive on Sunday. Prove they not competitive. Win. Disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree. Bad take. He says Texans coming for that number 1 spot. Now we're not giving Texans any love. All right. So this Sunday we got the Jaguars playing the number 1 seed in the AFC over in Denver. Everything on the line. Like we said, if the Jaguars lose this game and win out, they don't have the tiebreaker. If the Jaguars lose this, they need help from the Texans in order to win the AFC South. And this is the ultimate test right now. I mean, we've had an easy last couple of games, but I think, there's a reason for it. I think this is all about helping the team get right, building up Trevor Lawrence, figuring out where you're good at. And now this is the ultimate test for everything, for how good we are, potential, playoff type matchups where that's the kind of environment you're going to be in. This one is big. And I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but, let's go around and I guess see, do we think the Jaguars are going to win? I'll go with Jason. How are you feeling going into this one? And I know right now the Jaguars are 3-point underdogs. So, Vegas thinks it's pretty even. So where are you at going into this one?
Yeah, it's well said. I mean, if you're not up on gambling, you get 3 points if you're the home team. So for Vegas to make us 3-point dogs, that just means Vegas thinks this is going to be a dead even game, which I like that. And there's 2 aspects to this game that I really am going to be looking at. The first one being which Jaguars team shows up. And the Jags have shown up every game, but if the Jags team that shows up is the team that folds at the end of the game, and not even folds, but just doesn't keep their foot on the gas, I think that could be the difference. Obviously, the Texans game is easily to look at. There's other games this season where the Jags got out to an early lead, just kind of coasted and then kept the win, and it got a little closer than it should have been. If that team shows up, I'm not sure if they're going to win. The second thing that I'm going to be looking at is we've seen Liam Cohen get out-coached by Sean McVay in the past. Sean Payton is an amazing coach. Like, that is going to be a big storyline, is Sean Payton versus Liam Cohen. So this will be a big test. Hopefully Liam Cohen's learned from the past. But to me, I'm going to pick the Jags to win because I'm a Jags fan. But I saw Maurice Jones-Drew picked the game 24-23 Jags, and it could be a 1-point game. And the kicker, no pun intended, could be the fact that Cam Little could hit an 80-yarder in Denver, and that may be the winner. So we'll see if that happens.
Crazy. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I say you go ahead and take care of business now in Denver when it's going to be 50 degrees, clear skies, good weather, no wind. Take care of business now in Denver so you don't have to go there later on. How about that? And for me, this game, I think that everything Jason said is absolutely on the money, but I'm going to be looking at trench play. That is going to be so critical in this game specifically because the Broncos have great pass protection and they have a great defensive line. I mean, it's not just Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, those are 2 beasts off the edge, absolute dynamic pass rushers. You've got John Franklin Myers. You've got Zach Allen as well. You've got a bunch of other dudes. You've got Patrick Surtain on the back end. Can Liam Cohen and these guys execute enough on the offensive line to give Trevor Lawrence the time he needs? I think if both teams play their best game, I think the Jaguars win. I absolutely do. I think the Jaguars' best is better than the Broncos' best.
I agree with that. I
really do. I think that they're just more complete. I think that when their passing game is firing on all cylinders, there's not anybody who can stop them. I really think that. And you saw that against the Texans for a while in that game, and then Walker Little decided to just go to bed.
That's your boy, right? Walker Little, Jordan. Don't talk bad about your buddy.
He's never talked anything good about Walker Little. Come on.
Oh, yeah. He gets all the Trevor credit, but none of the Walker Little credit. That's crazy how that happens. Revisionist history.
Hey, I thought Walker Little would be better than he's been. He's had some decent games. He's had some horrible games. I would not want to see him against Nick Bonito. Credit to James Gladstone and company making sure Cole Van Lannon was here. So I think that the Jags come out with their best against the best team they've played this year, and I think that they win. And I think that they win 27-20.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny for this game because in my head I keep going to the score. The Jaguars will win 31-21. I know 10 points is a lot to give the Jaguars, but for some reason my head keeps going to that score, and I just think with this game, the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence are obviously hot, and I think they love this whole like disrespect card, right? And I think they're going to keep using that, and I just think the Jaguars, they understand what's at stake here. I mean, this is a difference of maybe playing 2 home playoff games versus having to be road warriors. It's a huge difference. And also, the team around the Jaguars' heels are the Texans, who are obviously back-to-back AFC South champions. The Jaguars are going to want this AFC South belt. So this is a big one. I do think that the Jaguars go over there and win it. I think Trevor Lawrence has another big game. I'm right there with Jordan when it comes to the trenches. That's where it's all going to come down to. And this is a big thing where, a few weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, how can the Jaguars really be good the rest of the season? I think one of the biggest things was winning in the trenches. And the Jaguars have been winning both sides of the trenches, offense and defense, throughout the season. But now you're going against a ferocious defensive line, and we've all talked about the names. Also, they've got a good pair of tackles over there with McGlinchey and Bulls. So that's going to be another tough matchup for the Jaguars edge rushers. And, Josh Hines Allen, he's going to need to take over. Look, he's the big sack guy. He's the guy that is the Jaguars game wrecker. I think he needs to have a big game. So, yeah, with this one, I think the Jaguars win. I think there's just so much at stake here, and I think the Jaguars are just playing such good football. Denver, give them a lot of credit for beating Green Bay the way that they did last week. I just don't think the Jaguars are going to go out there and make a bunch of mistakes. And that's another thing. I'm not even that worried about the Jaguars turnovers anymore. I continue to kind of be worried about the penalties, about the stupid penalties, because, we even saw the Jets. The only time the Jaguars, a drive really ever stopped for the Jaguars was when the Jaguars committed penalties on their end. So we can't go out there and, down 7 in the fourth quarter and have holding calls and false starts. So that's going to be another big thing, is playing a clean game. But,
they've it's gotten better in that regard. They absolutely have. They have massively improved.
Can I make a side note of this is just like Jags fans talking to Jags fans, and something that I've kind of picked up on through the season. It's kind of worrying. The only thing that's worrying me about Liam Cohen, his play calling when the offense is like backed up on the end zone, has not been great. Every time the Jags have the ball, like if it's a great punt or whatever happens, and they have the ball like inside the 10 and they're driving, they've almost punted like almost every single time. Like, I don't know what the problem is there. Like, I don't know what the deal is. And maybe they're just playing conservative to just not take a safety, but like Liam Cohen's got to sharpen up, which is I know it's a very niche thing to say, but like, he's got to sharpen up when his back's to the end zone. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's fair. I think the team does, like, just the offense in general too, not just his play calling, but like, I feel like they get a little tense down there for sure.
Yeah.
One thing, back to the trench play, specifically for the Jaguars offense, if they can protect Trevor Lawrence, he will dice up this Denver Broncos pass defense. He absolutely will.
Are you worried about Surtain though? Like, and again, I know that first touchdown pass where the defensive player peeled back, it was a great throw by Trevor, but like, do you worry Surtain is just a higher caliber player and will take advantage of some things like that? Does that bother y'all?
He is. But Jacoby Myers has feasted against the Broncos in the past. I think that they're going to figure out how to do that again in this game. I think that outside of Patrick Surtain, now that Jones is down, they're starting safety, a really good player. You just don't have the same level of confidence on that defensive backfield in the pass game. Like Talanoa Hufanga, very talented player, right? But he's not that crazy coverage guy down the field. Really, I think Riley Moss you can take advantage of. I think you can take advantage of a lot of these guys on the back end. Trevor Lawrence, just the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of get a little bit worried about Pat Surtain, because one thing with Trevor Lawrence, and there's sometimes quarterbacks that go against teams and the number one cornerback they throw away from them. They don't try to test them. Trevor Lawrence does test these guys. So that's why Derek Stingley has a bunch of picks against Trevor Lawrence. Even Pat Surtain, I think, has, when they played him 3 years ago in London, had a pick against them. So, Trevor Lawrence isn't afraid to throw at him. And yeah, I mean, it's a different level of cornerback you're playing. You're playing a guy with incredible closing speed. Sometimes the guy can look open, and next thing you know, Pat Surtain is going to jump ahead of it. And we all know, Trevor Lawrence has, a gunslinger mentality, and now with the extra level of confidence, he might even be more that way. So I worry because, I mean, he's a good player, right? He's a great player. I'd be worried about, I'm worried about Bo Nix's running ability. I'm worried about both the tackles, potentially shutting down our pass rushers. It's an extra layer of, I guess, worry to it. But the Broncos are the number one seed in the AFC for a reason. They got playmakers, and those guys are doing very well this year.
I know we're running over our time, but something that we haven't brought up, like, how important is Trevor Lawrence running going to be in this game? Like,
I wanted to say that.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to make up. I actually meant to bring this up. I think you made a really good point several weeks ago about you feel like you finally unlocked what Liam Cohen does well, and it's using the whole entire field, right? And that's one thing that he's introduced. It's like Trevor Lawrence now, like, they have designed quarterback runs for him, right? And then now with Brian Thomas Jr. back, we've kind of introduced the deep ball a little bit more. So there's really not a play that the Jaguars don't do anymore. I mean, we even line up 2 running backs in the backfield, and one of them will run on a touchdown pass. So, yeah, I love that extra element, and it's just Liam Cohen keeps the defense guessing. So Trevor Lawrence, he may only have like one design quarterback draw, but it just feels like this quarterback's draws, they're always just perfectly timed calls. He does an incredible job about when to call them.
And like, Jordan, I want your thoughts. The scram. This is, and maybe I'm just a delusional. This is where I'm a delusional fan, to be honest with you. The scrambles that Trevor has been doing they've always been on 3rd down, and Trevor picks up the first down with his legs. When you watched Travon Walker mic'd up, and for any of you that didn't watch it, he had this moment where he went to the sideline, and when Trevor Lawrence scrambled for the touchdown. And Travon Walker was like, Trevor just ran that in? He goes, oh, with Trevor running, and he goes through the list. He's like, if Trevor runs with Jacoby out there, with Brenton out there, he's like, we're unstoppable. Like, I think that might be the key to this offense is, like, are we in an era where teams have to quarterback spy Trevor Lawrence? Because he, like, leads the team in rushing now. So, like, Jordan, is that as big a deal to then am I just being a fan?
No, it's a huge deal. Because if a defense has to respect the quarterback, they have to respect the entire field, as Dalton was mentioning. How do you properly defend this offense when Trevor Lawrence is running the ball the way he's running it? I don't know. I don't think there's a good answer. And the Broncos are one of the most man-heavy teams in the league. Yep. Man coverage gives you the opportunities to run the football from the quarterback position, unless you're spying.
Yeah, and this could be something that maybe the Broncos are sleeping on, because I don't know, because, do they respect Trevor Lawrence and his running ability? Are they going to keep I don't know, because the way these defenses I feel like are playing, and you guys know more about these schemes and stuff than I do, it seems like they're really playing the Jaguars like, okay, we're going to force Trevor Lawrence to beat us with your arm. And that's exactly what Trevor Lawrence is doing. I don't know if you guys are getting that vibe. So it's almost like, if they bring a guy out of the box, are they going to still respect him enough where we're kind of having a guy spy just in case he runs? I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, again, and Jordan has watched and knows more about the Broncos than I do. But if they are a man, I would assume when they go back and watch the film of last week against the Jets, they'll respect Trevor more than the previous teams have. I think, Dalton, you're correct, where like most teams have been like, make Trevor beat us. But after watching last week, the Broncos may do a little more of a hybrid of the zone man. But if they do go man heavy, like, Trevor could rush for 75 yards, especially the way he's looking at the field right now. So that could be one of the most under talked about things to this game, is the amount of rushing yards Trevor Lawrence has.
Yeah, and when they come, for sure. If he's able to get some big first downs on 3rd down with his legs, absolutely. I really think the way the Jaguars offense is executing puts any defense in a bind.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
I know we're
great
over.
on great right now.
I know we're over.
I'm fine with running it still.
Listen, I know we're over. Are y'all worried about the rushing yards per carry right now? The last few weeks it hasn't been good. Are you worried about that? Are you worried about the offensive line? Does that concern y'all at all?
I'm not. The teams they've been playing have been quality run defenses as of late, and the Broncos are another high quality run defense. I really think that the game plan has been so centered around throwing the ball, and that's where they have been locked in. That's where they're going to have to be locked in again in this game. And I think that they're just running the ball to keep the defense honest, maybe pop one off here and there, but you're not going to have like this huge dominant rushing day with what you've got going on right now. You're going to have to throw the ball. And I think Liam Cohen, game plan wise, is more focused on that.
And I think the yards per carry, and sometimes because the Jaguars have been blowing teams out, right? So sometimes when you have these blowouts, stats get a little bit weird and a little bit skewed. So I'm not as worried about it. And I don't know. I just think once we get more looks, because right now they're giving us a lot of looks for us to pass the ball. We've been passing the ball well. Well, at some point they're gonna have to respect the pass, and then that's gonna open up the run game a little bit more. So I would expect this game to be a little bit more even, and hopefully that yards per carry does kind of go up, because I did notice that too. Like, ETN, the yards per carry has been like 2.5 to 3 yards per carry seemingly.
Under
so
3.
Yeah. So it's been lower, but at the same time you're winning 48 to 20. So it doesn't matter that much. So I don't know.
And hey, the Jags, they are going for the sweep of the AFC West in this game.
Let's go. Let's sweep them.
That's insane.
I think the Broncos swept the AFC West too, though. So
no, they lost to the Chargers already.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We're not the same. Well, we could be the same, but right now we're not.
Right now we're not. But yeah, man, big game coming up this Sunday in Denver. It feels like everything is at least the AFC South feels like it's on the line. Of course, I say that just because I don't want to have to be in a situation where we're 2 weeks left on the season and we need help from the Texans, because that's not an ideal situation to be in. But regardless, Jaguars are in control of their own destiny. Go 3-0. At worst, you'll have the number 3 seed, and potentially you can move up to the number 1 seed. And this would be a big one to knock the Denver Broncos down a peg. Shout out to the Bills for knocking the New England Patriots down a peg. So you could be within 1 game of the top seed, and then we'll see kind of how tiebreakers shake out a little bit. So with
Ravens,
that said,
Patriots too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. Flexed up into prime time. Shout out to them.
Big one for the Jags.
Yeah. So with that said, that'll end the show. Jordan over at the Gin Jag YouTube channel. Definitely go subscribe to them. Jordan, what you got coming up?
Y'all know it's going to be all Jags and Broncos over the next several days. We'll preview all the weekend slate, tell you who you should be cheering for, maybe some games that could be a little bit conflicted interests. We'll get into it. Really appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. And Jason, we got the big 1 show a week now.
Okay. Hear me out. Listen, so I had a show last night. It was kind of a long one. Shocker. Film breakdown of the Jags Jets. It was fun. Go check it out. I'm off on Friday for 2 weeks, so I may just spam shows. So
hell yeah,
be ready for that. I'm even thinking about doing a show after this show.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, go check out Jason right now.
Just a vibe check show, read all the comments, that type of thing. So we'll see. I'm like 75-25 right now.
We have 275 people in here that have nowhere to go after this. They're gonna have to be outside the show calling Ubers,
No, they got somewhere to go. They got somewhere. The club's still open. The club's still open.
I mean, this of course is a main event, but you got the after party on Jason's channel.
And that's even better.
The after party is always more fun, isn't it?
That's where you get arrested and get in fights. That's where it's good.
Yeah, exactly. So go over there, check out Jason. He is going live. We're speaking into there's no way he's going to say I might go live after this and not go live. Okay,
I'm going to.
Yeah. So yeah, he's going live. So go over there. Let's go to Jason's channel, Jaguars United. And with all that said, appreciate you guys tuning into Club Jaguar. On your way out, please drop likes. We'd really appreciate that. So with that said, let's go beat them Broncos.